10 Curious Everyday Inventions. 10. Garden Gnomes. Philip Griebel has the honor of being known as the inventor of garden gnomes. Originally he created other small creatures out of terracotta, but he was struck by the idea of using characters from local mythology. Griebel lived in Thuringia, Germany, in the mid-1800s, so gnomes were his character of choice. His gnomes became popular and spread from Germany to France and then to the rest of Europe and the world. Griebel's descendants still make garden gnomes. Sadly, only one of the original batch still survives. He is named Lampy and is valued at a whopping $1.5 million. 9. Friction matches. Matches have been around so long it is hard to imagine that they were not always with us. While the first matches existed in China in the 6th century and Europe in the 16th, the friction match as we know it today was not invented until the early 1800s. The very first friction match was invented by John Walker, an English chemist, in 1826. Nearly 40 years later, the famous match company Bryant and May began mass production. 8. Contact lenses. The first contact lenses were successfully invented and worn in 1888. Their inventor, Adolf Fick, tested his invention first on rabbits, then on himself and friends. The lenses were made of blown glass and were very thick in comparison to modern lenses, so much so that they could only be worn for a few hours at a time. Contact lenses as we know them today arrived in 1949. 7. Washing machine. The first washing machine was invented in, believe it or not, 1692. It was, however, non-electric. The electric washing machine came about in the late 1800s when Ford Motor Company employee Louis Goldenberg invented it for the company. 6. Soda can. The first soda cans had no pull tabs, and a metal punch was required to open it. By 1936, patents were flying as various inventors tried to come up with ways to provide easy can opening tools. In 1962, the old-style pull tab which was removed entirely and discarded was invented, and in 1975, it was replaced by the modern tabs, which remain on the can. 5. Condoms. In 1855, the first rubber condom was invented. They were made by wrapping strips of raw rubber around penis-shaped molds. They were, revoltingly, reusable, and had a shelf life of a few months. The modern latex condom was invented in 1912. 4. Tin foil. Modern aluminum foil was predated by tin foil, foil made from thinly beaten sheets of tin. In fact, in many countries, aluminum foil is still called tin foil. Modern aluminum foil was invented in the 20th century, and it was even used for audio recordings in some of the earliest phonograph machines. 3. Ballpoint pen. The first ballpoint pen was invented in 1888 by leather tanner John Loud. He needed a writing implement that would be able to mark the leather he tanned, since fountain pens were not suitable for the task. It was virtually identical to the modern ballpoint pen and had been in use for 50 years when Laszlo Biro patented an improved pen with freer movement of the ball in the tip. He is remembered as the slang name for the ballpoint, the Biro. 2. Shampoo. Modern shampoo arrived in the 1930s under the brand name Drene. It was a synthetic shampoo, meaning it included no soap. But the earliest shampoo appeared in 1814, when an English entrepreneur opened a beauty salon that washed hair with soap shavings dissolved in water. 1. Chocolate bars. The very first molded chocolate bar as we know it today was invented by Fry's Chocolates in 1847 in Bristol, England. The company still exists today but has merged with the Cadbury Company. The Fry's Cream chocolate bar with a flavorful filling is arguably their best chocolate bar, and that was invented in 1866. It is still available today. Thanks for watching. Like, share and comment about your views on this video. Subscribe for more.